All right, today we're going to talk about a little more of concepts as opposed to specific technique. Um, Lomtadze's defense is pretty good, and there's reasons for it, and that has to do with how relaxed he's able to stay in his defense, while also picking his spots to apply pressure and changing the direction of the guy's movements, whether it be his head or the guy's forward momentum or sideways momentum. He's able to manipulate and change the direction very well, and it's because he's able to float off and relax in his defense. And then when it's time, he's able to apply pressure and get off a leg attack. All right, let's take a look at this first clip. We're going to start with a down block because it's the initial start of every defense is picking your foot up, right? So we're going to start with some down block look. Here's a clip. Oop, picks his feet up. Very nice. There's one more little foot pick up here. Picks his feet up. So one more time. Pretty standard down block. Very nice. All right. So you can see how relaxed he is. Like, he just floats backwards with his down block. All right. He drops and floats. And especially on that second foot pickup, it's very relaxed. He just kind of squats and is able to pick his foot right up. So let's kind of slow it down here. So as this guy starts to attack, he kind of squats into this leg, picks his other foot up. Now, his opponent is attacking this direction, kind of in and around, sort of sweeps English. He's kind of far away. So, boom. So he starts to move away from it and pick both feet up. And he's able to just float right off this guy's attack. All right. You never see him stiffen up. You just see him kind of float off and down. All right, so he's very relaxed. Now, this to me is the most relaxed thing he does in this clip. This next little piece. Guy goes to attack again. He picks his foot up. And watch the way he rolls his knee and hip. Okay, so where it attacks. Now, he's not just picking his foot straight up. He's going to turn his knee in just a little bit and roll his hips out. Now, if where it keeps penetrating, it's going to look like that first down block he did, where this foot starts to come off the mat and he's able to float down and back. He's very relaxed. He's not tensing up, and he's able to move back into him afterwards. Boom, floats right off it. Whoop. Floats right off it. All right, so that's like the basis of his defense. Those little down and float kind of relaxed movements. All right, here's another one. He just down blocks and starts to change the angle right away. All right, so we'll watch it fast. Down blocks. He actually hits two angles there. or attempts to hit 2 angles. So one more time, left, right. Now, and the reason he's able to continue to move is because he doesn't stiffen up or panic when guys attack. He just relaxes and drops off. So here comes the attack. Foot's coming up, getting his hand in the way. Pretty standard down block. Now as he starts to float this leg back, as soon as it plants, he's going to change the angle of Graf's body, using his own body in relation to Graf's. Oop. So that right there is a good example of relaxing and then being able to use the guy's momentum and kind of pull him through his attack. So he starts to get off this shot. Now, Graf's momentum is headed this direction. As soon as Lomtadze's foot hits back here, he's just going to move and change and keep Graf's momentum going that direction. Alright, so he's going to circle back in front, and Graf's momentum is going to continue through. See? So now Graf's going this direction, while Lomtadze, who's relaxed and floating away from the attack, is going back around the other side. And as we continue, when Graf starts to square up, he's going to have a ton of weight on this knee because he's moving that direction. And then when he has to square up, all the weight is going to go to his outside knee. So as he starts to square up, boom, all the way to that outside knee. Now, here's Lomtadze trying to hit his little signature throw by, right? So he changed the angle in momentum that Graf was using going that direction. Now as Graf squared up, his weight is starting to go forward a little bit and back into Lomtadze. Oh, it's a pretty good opportunity to try and hit this little throw by, elbow throw by he does. So Lomtadze shifts his weight back around, right? I think he slips off his arm is the only reason he didn't get that one, because that weight was coming in. So let's look at it slow again, even slow it down more. There we go. So movement's going this direction. As he continues through, Lomtadze changes the angle by going around. Now Graf has to try and follow the angle with him, right? Which is going to make weight go to that knee. So as he continues to go through, knee hits, boom. Now all the weight's down on his knee. And Lomtadze changes the angle again while he's floating off. Yeah, it looks like his arm just slips right there. Otherwise, I think he gets that. But he's able to make all these kind of direction changes and hip movements because of his initial ability to try and float off an attack. So the attack comes, he floats off, changes the angle, and changes it again. Alright, this is another down block. Now this shows how relaxed he can be because the way he is able to roll his hips and knees like kind of in a circular motion. So we'll show it one time. Normal speed. Oop. Good. Now one more time, normal speed. Really focus on the roll he's doing with this leg. Just so relaxed, man. So relaxed. Slow it down. Here comes the attack. Now, he's attacking to his opposite foot first. So that one's going to step up. He shifts all the way into this leg. And it's good on his opponent. I think he just hit him with a misdirection. He was planning on it, I'm pretty sure. But Lomtadze doesn't hard commit to one side or the other, really, which is what I mean by relax. He's not full on, oh, he's grabbing my right leg or my left leg, I'm going to sprawl. He's, okay, I'm picking my foot up and I'm sinking and floating. Wow, sinking and floating, that's, what I mean is he's dropping his level just a little bit. That's what I mean by sinking. And by floating, I mean he's going to be able to kind of ride his opponent like a wave. So if Lomtadze is a surfboard, his opponent's the wave, he's able to just kind of ride that wave off that leg attack. All right, so he doesn't fully commit to any kind of particular defense on this first attack. Boom, opponent reaches far leg, he picks his foot up, but because he's not committing and staying relaxed, he's able to plant that foot back down, and when his opponent attacks the other side, he's already picking his foot up. Here comes the direction change. Right. So he's putting all the weight on this side. Now his opponent attacks that side, he's going to take his direction to the opposite side and move his opponent's head and body this way. All right, so he's taking what his opponent wants out of the attack in two directions. So he's moving and his opponent's moving. He's using his head to shift it that way while he starts to roll and move this direction. Stay so relaxed in there. One more time through, we'll speed it up just a little bit. First foot comes up, steps. Here comes the direction change as he floats off. Whoop. Floats right off. This is one of my favorite clips for two reasons. One, because Bogomolov hits a nice high crotch. And two, because Lomtadze is able to just float right off it. All right, he doesn't try and stop him. He just floats with him. So, full speed a couple times. So nice. He probably changes his direction 2 or 3 times in here. So good. All right. Now, slow her down. First off, what a nice leg attack. All right. So, just like always, Lomtadze picks the foot up that's getting attacked, and he's already starting to change this guy's angle. Pay close attention to the knee that's getting attacked. Right? It's facing forward toward the guy. Now, as he attacks, he's floating backwards. He's going to hop this foot back. And as he floats, this knee is starting to point in and across. This changes the angle of the guy's attack. And if you were to stay hips and knee square, it's very likely that Bogomolov finishes this. But because he's floating backwards, like taking away this really nice straight on high crotch attack and turning it into an angle. Now, this knee's going down and in front. This is Lomtadze's right foot. It goes all the way down, hits the mat here. Now as his back foot swings around, he's going to create this direction change back through Bogomoyev's body. Boom. He's got him to lean this way. Now as Bogomoyev corrects back to the other direction, Lomtadze is going to float with it and turn his hips open again. To create a ton of space between Bogomoyev's hips and his attack. All right, obviously this underhook helps a little bit, but his hip motion and being able to stay relaxed and float back and forth and change the angle of the opponent's attack is really what gets him off this. Boom. There's just nothing you can do about it. All right, we'll go through it one more time because there's a lot of stuff working here. Boom, hits his attack. Initially, foot up, like always. Now to start to change the angle, hips turn away, into Bogomoyev, and knee turns into Bogomoyev. Now as he keeps going through, his original plant foot's gonna hop away. As he drops, this is the foot being attacked now. As he drops it to the mat, he's changed the angle back over this direction. All right. Now, Bogomoyev trying to correct and come back to this side. As he does that, Lomtadze's hopping off his outside foot and creating space between their bodies to make sure he can get off this attack. All right, let's take a look at this one. This guy hits a little low single here. Boom. Nice. Again, foot coming up right away. Watch it a few times fast. Good. Now you can really see the angle change and hip float here. Alright, so single. Alright. Foot starts to come up. There you go, he's changing the angle of this guy's attack. This guy's looking like every good low single to get his head inside, right around this guy's knee area. Alright. So because Lomtadze is so relaxed, he makes a miss. Oop, just brings his knee right inside. So his knee just kind of rolls to the inside of the guy's head. Changes the angle of his attack. It's no longer good low single position. Well, his hips and knees are now pointed away, right? From this guy's attack. Just like on that high crotch, where he points his hips and knees. So they're forward. This guy attacks, points him away. Now, this is just really nice. Well, I'll talk a little bit of low single defense technique right now. So because he's able to point his hips and knees away, like, this guy's not really grabbing anything. All he's got is his heel, but his foot's able to slip right out, right? Because he's not really holding on to anything. Right, foot comes right out as he defends. All right, so here's a good example of the float. So he's squatted and relaxed. His knee starts to turn back down as this guy adjusts. So guy's direction is forward first. Now, as he goes, Lomtadze changes the angle. Now this guy's trying to correct by coming back this direction toward us. As he starts to correct and come back, Lomtadze is going to change the angle again. So he floats his hips. He comes back over. This guy's starting to move this direction. Now, Lomtadze's going to keep going. Look at all the space he's created between his head and his attack. Floats all the way off. Now, because of the way Lomtadze floats and relaxes in his defense, he ends up in this like wizard position a lot. It's coming up here. So I mean, just look at this guy's position, man. This is not a good angle for him, right? Lomtadze feels the guy start to reach up for his underhook, changes the angle back away from him, and floats off. Oop. Up to his feet. All right. These next few clips are against Logan Stieber, who, if you don't know, is a fantastic single leg shooter and finisher. He's notorious for finishing single legs, right? Now, the way Lomtadze's defense works here is still relaxed, still going to float, but he has to know exactly when to apply the right pressure to get Logan Stieber's hand to pop off his leg. All right, we'll see. Play it a few times fast. Again, feet come up right away. Feet up. Most of the time, Lomtadze's position isn't going to be called good defense, but against Stieber in particular, because of the way he likes to finish his single leg, it's actually really good. So Stieber likes that little cutback finish where he dumps the guys right to their butt. And in these next few clips, we'll see why he wasn't able to get it. So Lomtadze starts to float off. Boom. Now, he's still floating. He hasn't full committed to a sprawl. As his lace hits, boom, that's his right through here. He's getting all his weight quick through this hip. All right. It's going to try and make Stieber's arm pop up. Boom, slides it up. Now, as he feels Stieber's hand slide up, he's going to start to relax again. Relaxes right into his wizard position. All right. Boom, shoots, floats off. And even here, he starts to kind of change the angle, where Stieber would like for him to stay hips square. So look. So his hips are facing Stieber. As Stieber attacks, he starts to turn them, and they're facing more toward the crowd-ish area. Starts to float back. Starts to pick his foot up. Boom. Gives one quick pop. Try and get Stieber's hand to come up. He feels it come up. Relaxes right back into his wizard position. All right, we'll play this one a couple times fast. Similar to the last one, but there's a few things that happen here that are a little different. All right. Stieber starts to attack his single leg. Lomtadze's feet come up, starts to sink down and float. Right. Now, in the previous clip, right, he's looking to extend this leg and put a bunch of weight into Stieber's arm and pop his hand right off. In this clip, he doesn't get it, right? And it's a little bit to do with Stieber's hand placement and caught Lomtadze a little off balance on his attack. But anyway, he doesn't get it, right? So he looks for it, doesn't get it. Feels Stieber get his hands locked, or start to get his hands locked. All right. Now, look at Lomtadze's position here now. So he goes from like traditional sprawl. As Stieber gets his hands locked, everybody knows this is big time finish time for Stieber. All right, hands locked, he's gonna cut you back. Now, watch what Lomtadze's hips do. They go from in with pressure. And now he's transitioning back to float. Because if you keep pressure in, you're getting cut back. All right, so he starts to float. And look at there's space. You can see a little bit right in this area. There's space between Lomtadze's hips and Stieber's head because he needs to use his head to try and hit this cutback. So you see Stieber's shoulders and elbows start to rotate to try and cut Lomtadze back, but because he's not hard sprawling, I mean, look at his knee. Look at the angle. It's less than 90 degrees here, right? Because Lomtadze's not sprawling, he's not giving Stieber the pressure to be able to cut him back. So he floats right off it, and as Stieber tries to cut him back, he's just swinging this leg over top for balance. So Stieber tries to hit his cutback. Lomtadze is pulling his hand up. As he does that now, as he feels his hands come unlocked, he slides back down, still relaxed. Still relaxed. Pulls him up, right in his overhook position. So boom, Stieber attacks. Lomtadze is not able to get his hand to pop up like in the previous clip. So he goes from pressure in as he continues to float pressure, where his pressure is kind of off here, but he's created space between his hips and Stieber's head. He stays relaxed. He stiffens up even just a little bit right here. Stieber's cutting back. All right, so he stays relaxed and starts to float with Stieber's pressure. So Stieber's pressure when this cutback finish is going that direction. All right, he's trying to push with his head and pull with his arms and sit Lomtadze right to his butt. Lomtadze just goes with it. He just floats, steps back, gets his hands broken, and is able to get off this attack. All right, this one's really good. The concept that Lomtadze is doing stays the same, where it's float, relax, apply pressure when I need to, change the angle of the attack with my hips and my feet, just stay relaxed, and use this guy's direction to defend. Boom. So Stieber hits sort of a high crotch, sort of an inside reach single leg. Lomtadze again picks his foot up, starts to do more of a traditional type sprawl here, but he's still relaxed and drops. Now Stieber's gonna look to change his head back inside because he likes single leg better. Look at Lomtadze's leg. Now, it's not just bent because Stieber's holding it. Right? It's bent in Lomtadze's hips have space so that Stieber can't get pressure to cut him back. Right. So he's very relaxed here. Now, as he adjusts over top, Stieber starts to try and look corner. When he drops his hand down here, he's kind of starting to look like a corner finish. As he does that, Lomtadze feels it. It's going to move into him and start to straighten his leg a little more, so it's not as bent. It's a little wider than 90 degrees. Stieber switches back to the finish he likes, this little cutback. So he starts to lift. Boom, he steps in front. He's getting ready to try and cut Lomtadze back this direction. Lomtadze still relaxed. Chest down like this, like leaned over, is typically bad. But if he were to go hips in hard and chest up strong, Stieber's already finished. 100% of the time. All right, so if Lomtadze's chest comes up and his hips go in, Stieber's finished. So he stays relaxed and floats off the attack. Boom. You can see Stieber tries to hit that cutback. Lomtadze still relaxed, just floats, just rides that wave of the attack. Now, Stieber's missed his cutback finish. Lomtadze's leg now starts to go straight, more of a traditional sprawl defend. Stieber steps back up to cut him back in. Look. Now, this is a good adjustment by Stieber. So Lomtadze starts to relax and give Stieber his leg again because he thinks he's going to cut him back. Instead, Stieber decides to try and drop corner here. So he slides down. Lomtadze feels it and adjusts and gets his leg down and back again. All right, and it's just him floating up and down and in and out with his hips and his pressure. It's allowing him to do this type of stuff. Boom. So he's big sprawl, right? You can see Stieber's arms extended. There's no cutback finish here, nothing. All right, Stieber feels it. He's looking to adjust over to this corner. Lomtadze just relaxed again. All right. So he's got that leg straight. He feels Stieber start to step over. So Stieber's pressure releases, and he's going to start to step over Lomtadze's leg this direction. Now Lomtadze starts to bend his knee again and relaxes. Hops away a little bit. Still relaxed. Pressuring into Stieber. All right, so he's pushing off his back foot. Feeling like he needs to pressure in to him. He's going to pressure in and get space, and he's going to be able to take his foot back in a way. Boop. All right, now here he's got to be careful again for the cutback. So he kind of starts to sprawl. Stieber goes to try to switch head outside. Lomtadze floats and feels it. He just feels it. Alright, so he goes from single leg defense, starts to get his hips back. Stieber's pretty much crushed here, so he has to rotate his head outside. As he rotates, Lomtadze floats back with him. Now he's applying heavy pressure into Stieber. He's got him beat. Starts to pull him up into that wizard position he gets too often. And there's so many good hip adjustments here. All right, let's watch it one time through again, a little bit faster. Here comes the attack. Lomtadze's relaxed. Relaxed. Stieber looks for his cutback. There's no pressure for him to get it. He just gets put back on his heels. Now steps up. Stieber tries to go corner again. Lomtadze just stays relaxed, starts to float off it. Still floating off of it. Now he applies pressure. Stieber's head pops out. He's got him beat. Pressure into him, pulls him up, and floats off. Let's look at that last little piece again real quick. Alright, so as Stieber's head rotates out, boom, this is tons of pressure. Look at this position. All the weight's going down and into him. Tons of pressure. Alright. Now, there releases the pressure. As soon as he turns his hip, the pressure releases. Stieber's head pops up. This position is similar to the Stieber position, but this guy starts to drive to his feet. We can really see how Lomtadze relaxes and is able to move with him as he's defending. Guy hits the single leg attack, foot comes up like normal. Boom. So, watch the adjustment here. So he floats down, goes to hard sprawl, feels the guy's pressure of his head. Oh. Feels the guy's head right about this area. So he's starting to feel, and this guy's starting to pinch his elbow back toward his side. So he feels it, he relaxes, leg goes back bent, floats off of it. If he stays sprawled here, he gets finished on. All right. Look at that. He's got good balance too, man. That was pretty impressive. So as he comes to his feet, here's where the float starts to happen. So the guy's still driving up and into him. Look, both feet off the mat, and he's just gonna hop and float down in this direction. Also, watch his hips. They're gonna turn open. All right, look at the space he's created between the guy's head, just from floating away from the attack. All right. Staying relaxed, floating. Hips are a little bit out. If they stay into this guy the whole time, he's probably finishing. So it floats off it. Now he gets the guy back down on the mat. Now he's gonna hit his hard pressure sprawl, leg straight. Pops his hands off. Gets in that wizard position he gets to so much. Comes back up.